But don't overreact because jealousy is normal. In fact, jealousy is just like, it's a human emotion, right? It's just a human emotion. Being able to control your jealousy is what's important. So when that jealousy occurs, just be like,
say, how's the fam?
How's the fam?
Hey y'all, it's Keisha.
And this is Tyler.
And this is How's the Fam?
How's the Fam is your podcast about family, friends, and growth. We're here every single Friday. I think it's Friday. Today is Friday. And so it is Keisha's birthday weekend, or birthday week, or birthday month. I don't know how y'all celebrate. But happy birthday to Keisha, whichever day that falls on, all that good stuff, right? I did not get an awesome gift. I just got her the gift of, I'm going to get her a chain. So apparently, she wanted a chain little, but she spent some chain. What?
Chain little, but I spent some change on it.
Yeah. That's what she wanted. I asked. That's what she said she wanted. And also, if I sound a little weird, it's because I've been coughing my life away with these Texas allergies, okay? Today's episode is about jealousy between siblings. And, it's going to be a good one. So stick around if that sounds interesting to you. Jealousy between siblings, specifically if you're in the role of a parent, right? So if that sounds good to you, stick around because we are in a good one. Now, let's open up with a story. Kiki. Here's what happened. Here's what happened. So it used to be when Liana was younger, our oldest daughter was younger, she would wake up in the middle of the night and she'd come downstairs. We'd take her back upstairs, all this other stuff, right? Now, Melanie's at the age where she comes downstairs and I don't have the energy to take her upstairs all the time. So Melanie will be downstairs in our bed. I'll go upstairs to wake Liana up, and Liana will be like, you let Melanie sleep downstairs again. That's not fair. And not only would she say that's not fair, she'll be like, what are you going to do to make it better? Like, what are you going to do to make it whole and all this other stuff? Which is very demanding for somebody who don't pay no bills in this house. You feel me? So, and the jealousy between them is getting real. In fact, last soccer season when they were playing, Melanie noticed how good Liana was at being coordinated, kicking the ball, things of that nature. If anything, Liana, she had the furthest kick on the team, which, she's my daughter, you feel me? But that made Melanie jealous of her sister. So whether it be physically, whether it be mentally, and then here's one more story, just real quick. Liana knew Spanish at an early age. Melanie is learning Spanish now, but Melanie is so good at Spanish in her class that her teachers tell us about it, right? Mm-hmm. And so one day Melanie, she was showing off to us, and Liana just couldn't help herself. She had to tell us how good she was at Spanish too, right? She couldn't let her sister just sit there and shine. She also was like, yo, I gotta be part of this. And so she interjected herself. Now, I'm saying all that to say jealousy between siblings is real, all right? It's 100% real. I've seen it myself. I've experienced myself as a parent. I've experienced it as a child. And we're here to give you guys some tips on how to reduce the jealousy between siblings, okay? Now, this information is actually coming from a website called verywellfamily.com. I took the parts that I thought was the most impactful, and I just dissected it. I reworded it. It's mine now, right? So, you ready for it, Kiki? Sure. Oh, did you have anything to add to the jealousy thing?
I ain't saying nothing the whole time.
You got any stories you want to add to the jealousy thing?
Well, before we had kids, I warned you. I was like, when we have more than one kid, when they start to have these sibling fights and jealousies and stuff, that's an unknown territory for me because I grew up in the house by myself. Mm-hmm. And so, if I was disappointed or wanted something, I didn't have to share. I didn't have to share attention, all that stuff. Yeah. So I warned you. I was like, those arguments and stuff, we're gonna lean on you a little bit more because what that experience is like. So I was just like, you kind of got the upper hand on me on that. But me personally, knowing how I strive for attention as an only child, how I loved it and how that was a major impact in my life. Sure. I use that to not divide, but make sure each child is getting that attention because I know how important it is. Mm-hmm. But You can go on with your things, but we can keep talking though.
I
Just knew that was the beginning of it.
In terms of like me and Travis, my parents did a great job in terms of like equity between us. The only thing that Travis had that I did not have, which is logical, is like he had a lot more freedom. Like once Travis was able to drive, like he was pretty much gone, and I was stuck. Like, and I felt remorse for that. I was like, dang it, why I gotta be here and he ain't gotta be here, you know? Mm-hmm. It's like, why? Like, he could go out with my cousins. Like, when we visited my cousins, he could go out with my cousins to all these different places. I was stuck in Vacation Bible School. It's that type of stuff. It hurts. It hurts.
And that's kind of different also because of y'all age gap.
Yeah, we're 6 years apart.
Are super close.
And they are close. But even then, like, that year and a half is major when one of them's able to drive and one of them's not.
That is
like 15
true.
and 13, like, the 15-year-old clearly gets, like, perks that the 13-year-old ain't going to get.
Yeah.
I don't care how much the 13-year-old cry. Love you, Melanie. So, you ready to get into it?
Sure.
All right. So, I already went over the scenarios. The scenarios on the website was bringing home a new baby and introducing your new baby to the existing children. That sounds so weird. But introducing your baby to the kids for the first time. And then the other example that they mentioned was just having an older sibling and watching the younger sibling see how much physically dominant the older sibling is, right? Now, the first thing, all right, don't blame the older sibling's wants on the baby. So I can't do blank because the baby is blank, right? And I'm guilty of that. You know what I'm talking about? So I can't get you milk right now because the baby's sleeping.
Okay, I think you worded it wrong.
What?
That's not what I got.
I can't do blank because the baby blank?
No. What was the statement you said?
Oh, don't blame the older sibling's wants on the baby?
Okay. It just sounds weird.
It does sound weird, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah, it does sound weird. Don't blame the older siblings' wants on the... But pretty much when you can't get your baby something, or when you can't get your child something because the baby is doing something else. They're like, don't do that. Like, don't blame the baby because of it. Mm-hmm. So instead of doing that, you need to think of a different way of saying no. But like, hey, give me 5 minutes and I'll do it. Right?
You just did this last night.
I did.
You remember what it was?
The milk thing, right? Wasn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, that's why I just used the example. Hey, look here. I learned this like 2 weeks ago, right? I went over this 2 weeks ago.
You're already feeling
like this is all stuff that's easier said than done. I 100% did this. Because like Naomi, like I think she was asleep. And the girls were watching TV and Melanie wanted milk. And when Melanie wants milk, sometimes she wants milk and sometimes she wants attention. It's hard to tell. It's hard to differentiate between the two. But she wanted milk. And I was like, yo, I can't get you milk right now. Go ask your mama. That's what I said.
No, you did not. Then it must have been something else because I remember that. But there was something she asked for. Either her, Liana asked for something. And you was like, I can't right now.
Liana wanted to play Candyland.
Let me deal with Naomi right now.
Yeah, Liana wanted to play Candyland. And I said, no, I can't because Naomi's sleeping. You're right. Because Liana wanted to play Candyland. And Liana is like hyper competitive when it comes to this basic game.
But you know what? I did it too. Because I made Naomi some oatmeal. Mm-hmm. And Liana was like, what are you eating? I was like, I had a hot dog. And she was like, hot dog don't fill me up. I was like,
that is facts.
Yeah. And so I was like, well, you want oatmeal too? And they were like, yeah. I was like, okay, let me feed Nay first because hers is already done. And then I'll make y'all oatmeal. And probably like a few minutes later, Liana was like, oh, why Naomi eat so slow? Because I ain't gonna lie, Naomi will walk to me, get a scoop, and she'll go back and watch a little TV, and then she'll walk back. Like, she was taking her time. So
she always takes her time.
I definitely felt her pain, but I definitely see that statement becoming a factor because it's like, they're not mad at, oh, mommy is taking her time giving me my oatmeal. They're like, because of Naomi, I'm starving. Like, it's pointing a finger on Naomi, and it's like not really her fault, you know?
I agree with that. And you're right, I am very guilty of this. Don't get it twisted. It's
easy to do because most of the time we are attending to Naomi. I mean,
facts
she's
are
facts.
Baby. Facts are facts. But we also have an advantage where it's two of us. It ain't just one of us. So sometimes I'm like, yo, go ask your mama. And they don't want to ask you. I'm just saying, like, if you don't go ask your mama for this thing, that means you don't really want it. You just want me.
Yeah.
And the next technique is just shift it, right? So instead of like, hey, instead of playing Candyland, you want to watch TV, which I understand how some people feel about TV. We got an episode coming out about technology and children and all that other stuff. But it's a good thing. But we have the Nintendo too. It's like, I want to play video games, like anything but me playing Candyland, like anything but me playing Candyland. All right, so the next one is you got to give your kids spontaneous praise, and this goes for each one. We got 3 kids, so each of those 3 kids needs to receive spontaneous praise. So when you catch them being good, obviously that's an opportunity to do something, right? And when you be like, yeah, my child did that, right? Like for instance, Liana cleaned up their room, like all the toys, one of those days. I was like, Liana, you're a good sister, yada, yada, yada. I said, good job. I'm proud of you. Melanie got Naomi's cup one day. I was like, yo, Melanie, that was a nice thing to do to get Naomi's cup. And so now that reinforces the behavior. Now Melanie always get Naomi's cup. Mm-hmm. So, similarly, Liana's always cleaning up, which I don't like that. I think Liana should be like, yeah, Melanie, it's your turn to clean up. But maybe I should step in as a father, right? But you got to give them attention and give them praise. So what are your thoughts on that one?
I think that comes to like discipline too.
What you mean by discipline?
Well, that's like no, not like whoopings or nothing. I'm talking about you doing it. You have to have the discipline to remind yourself to
that's
praise them.
Thing. I think that's a habit. Okay, once you get into the habit of
it. Yes. Yeah. Okay, so habit, because I think of it like prayer. People most tend to only pray when something bad is happening or is about to happen.
Yeah.
When things are going well, you might lay off a little bit, or you might not pray at all. Just being honest
but then
here.
You get that pregnancy scare.
No. When it's bad, it's easy for you to be like, man, I need to pray. I need to get down on my knees right now. It's easy to click. Just like when they do something bad, it's like, I'm going to get on you now. But when they tend to be good, you don't automatically think of it because you're just glad they're not being bad at the moment. So it's hard to
get in the
habit of like, oh, good job, instead of because you're like in your head, oh, you should be doing that anyway. So
I immediately thought of those moments where it gets quiet in the house. You're like, what these little kids doing? But in those moments where it's quiet in the house and they just up there watching TV and not doing nothing bad, you be like, girls, I really like the way that y'all behaving right now. But I don't do that. Even I'm just like, what y'all doing? Mm-hmm. But, that's neither here nor there. It really is a habit. I'm in the habit of giving them compliments. I'm not in the habit of, like, identifying certain triggers that will give them compliments. And then, also, you got to give them the extra I love yous, right? The extra I love you. Now, as a father with 3 daughters, this is very easy for me in particular. I always do this. Like, I'm good at this one. Now, what is it like being a mother with 3 daughters? I'm not certain. What you think?
It's not the fact that I'm the mom. It's the fact that how I was brought up, we didn't really say I love you just randomly or all the time. It was like an understood thing. Like, I love you. I ain't gotta say that.
Love you, man. Love you, man.
And so me doing it to them, like I do it. But sometimes I really have to like remind myself, I'm like, just say I love you randomly. Like, hey, give them a hug or something like, show affection, because I feel like with kids, it's like, you feel like they know, but I think you actually doing it or actually saying it or actually giving a hug, it like release, what's that thing releases?
Which one? The good one? The love?
Yes. Dopamine. I think that's it. Yeah, it releases that.
Serotonin's like the leadership one or something, but dopamine is the happy one.
Yeah, it releases that in them. So things like that tends to like stick with them a little longer. Mm-hmm. And if you're like keep going at them like nagging, that's all they're gonna remember that. Even if you get on to them one time that day, that one time it's gonna just succumb like everything else. Like
you right.
Just take over. Like, I got in trouble today. That's it. Nothing else.
That's how Liana is.
Yeah.
Like when Liana get in trouble in the past, it was like Teflon. It's like, it's like I got in trouble. And so I just let it slide on off. And now, now she like slime, man. Everything. She stick to everything. Yeah. Every single thing. Like you cannot get on the Liana super, super harsh and expect her to forget about it. She gonna remember it for the long haul, just like her daggone daddy. And then, all right, so here's some solutions. So I guess we already at the solutions part, so let's just go ahead and drive into it, right? So here's some things that kids will do. Like, they call it the mutual blame game. And
oh, I do this.
yeah, this is a mutual blame game. So what you got to do is you have to, I don't know, should I describe it? Do you want to describe it?
Pretty much, when one of y'all is doing something wrong and the other one witness it, and then they begin to either partake in it or just don't do anything about it, or don't even tell us about it, they just let it happen. Then when I figure out what the bad thing is, or I see it, y'all both get in trouble. Like, y'all in trouble. Yeah. But it's not. No, you allowed it to happen. You didn't come get mommy or daddy to let us know. Point blank, y'all both wrong.
Everybody in trouble.
We're punished.
That's exactly right. Because what happens is you have the bully and the victim. And while the bully should get in trouble, sometimes the victim, especially in the parenting role, sometimes the victim got to get in trouble too. I read this dope quote, and it was like, if you bully my child and my child asks your child to stop bullying him, and your child continues to bully them, then my child has permission to punch your child in the face. And I was just like, yo, man, I understand. I've always said sometimes violence is the answer. So, you know, it is what it is. Neither here nor there, but sometimes the bully is at fault and the victim sometimes is at fault too when it comes to parenting. A good example is them playing with them playing with toys near the stove. They know the stove is hot and they know they're not supposed to touch the stove, but one of them feels like they could put toys on the stove. I didn't tell you about this. One of them feels like they could put toys on the stove. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, they got the foot thing, the love sack foot thing, and they was like playing on the stove. It wasn't on, but it was just residual heat. And they wanted to change the colors.
Trying to burn our house down.
They wanted to change the colors of their shoes. So, like, you know, when you put them down, whatever. All the same, y'all both in trouble now. Everybody in trouble. Okay. I didn't tell you, though. I was like, it wasn't that major because the stove really wasn't hot. But it was still warm. Yeah, exactly. I agree. That's why they got in trouble. Now, you got to acknowledge the jealousy. That's our next solution is you got to actually acknowledge the jealousy that exists, right? And here's the thing. A lot of us, when we acknowledge it, we overreact. I'm extremely guilty of this. I'm a very firm overreactor. Actually, I'm not as bad of an overreactor.
Stop.
You are way worse. I take things a little further than they're supposed to go. Keisha, like, is above and beyond, right? It's a lot. Allegedly.
Keep going.
Allegedly. Allegedly. But don't overreact because jealousy is normal. In fact, jealousy is just like, it's a human emotion, right? It's just a human emotion. Being able to control your jealousy is what's important. So when that jealousy occurs, just be like, hey, you know, your sister does a lot of your sister does a lot of cool, dope stuff, and you do a lot of cool, dope stuff too. Like, for instance, when Melanie was learning Spanish and she was getting rewarded for her Spanish, Liana was able to count to 100. And we were like, well, Liana, you know, Melanie's good at Spanish, but you're able to count to 100. And now she can count to like 400, which is so annoying to sit through. But as a parent, you just gotta sit through it like, that's my baby counting numbers. But yeah, do you have anything you want to say about it? Miss allegedly taking things a little too far in terms of the jealousy part.
I don't take it too far.
No? Okay.
No, that's just me punishing. Like, my patience level is like non-existent.
I think you have pretty good patience.
I'm way better than I used to be. I give myself that, but it's still.
But once you pass the tipping point, it's a wrap.
It's way shorter than yours. Yeah. I will say that.
But I'm like a monk when it comes to this patience thing. My patience is way, way too long. I should probably snap a lot earlier.
It's like, nip it in the butt.
I should probably snap a lot earlier.
Man.
I agree with it.
You letting this drag out too long. I'll come up in here, pom. You be like, Keisha. I'm like, nah, too late. I gave you like 5 minutes. Sometimes it's just like, let's nip it right now.
Yeah, you good. And you know what's crazy? Denza's been on the episode. Like, she's been on the podcast before. Denza is good at nipping things in the butt too. But my thing is, like, I want to let kids be kids, but you can't just let kids be kids sometimes because you have to establish boundaries, which is what we talked about in our previous episode. Make sure you check out episode 108 if you want to hear more about that. So, yeah, you're right. Sometimes you got to nip it in the butt, and you are very good at being like, too far, back down, we're good. And I'm not. Now, you got to avoid the comparison game, right? You know why you have to avoid the comparison game?
Because it would be all competitive all the time.
That's exactly right. It's not fair to compare your children to each other.
My favorite.
Even if they were twins, it's still not fair to compare your kids to each other.
So who's your favorite child?
You really want to know? No, mess around.
He does have a favorite, by the way.
Hey, man, don't be telling all my secrets.
I ain't say who.
But yeah, it's not fair because even if they were twins, even if they were like to the molecular level very similar, they still have different cognitive abilities. They still have different physical abilities. They are not the same person. They're going to interpret things differently, right? They're going to administer different behaviors. So instead of applying the comparison game, make sure you ask your child to compare themselves to their past, right? So when one gets jealous, like for instance, when Liana was able to kick the ball really, really far, and Melanie, it came a long way, like a long, long way. Melanie was upset one day, and I was like, Melanie, it's like, you used to be scared to get on the field, and now you'll get on the field. I was like, Melanie, like, do you feel like you're better at playing? And she was like, yeah. I was like, can you kick the ball further than you could like 3 weeks ago? And she was like, yeah.
Your voice.
Yeah, well, that's my coaching voice. You know how some of y'all don't know, but when you coaching somebody and like they've been doing good, but then they get frustrated, you got to come on down and be like, hey, pal, what's going on, man? It's okay, Junior. Get back out there, man. You got this. Yeah, I miss coaching. Coaching was
I know you do.
Awesome. All right. But you want to focus on their improvements. That's what I'm trying to say. Now, what you got to say about that?
I don't like when you bring up the soccer example because Melanie should have never been on the same team as
But
Liana.
she was. Melanie was the only one who didn't score, and I feel like that's the reason you say that. But that doesn't.
It's not.
That
the
doesn't
reason.
take away the exceptional improvement that she had on.
If she would have had improvement in her age group.
But would you rather your child be the best
Oh my
with
goodness.
the worst or the best among the best?
I can't do it.
Melanie was on an undefeated team.
It don't even
and she was
count.
the youngest one.
It don't even count.
How does it not count?
So they don't keep score. You
kept
score, but they didn't. It don't matter at the age. They're just trying to get the rules and the moves and stuff of the game.
To that, you are right.
And so I feel like she would have been with kids more on her level. I get what you're saying when you're with kids that are older and better. You have no choice but to go up, you know? She was. I give you that. I will give you that. She was out there, especially like some of the kids that were bigger. I was just like, oh my God.
Yeah, Melanie was up in there. But when she was done, it was a wrap. She was like, I'm done.
Oh, yeah, she was done. And then that's when you remember, oh, this girl is younger than all of them. I can't hold that against her. And I think that was like the downfall.
I mean, the real reason I wanted Melanie on that team is because I wanted to coach my own daughter.
Well, that's true. And then you didn't want us to be in two places at the same time.
That would have sucked.
In reality, that's going to happen.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't have to.
It's going to happen.
It doesn't have to.
Why?
Because when Liana's 9, Melanie would be 7, and she can still play U10.
Here you go. Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't have to.
Who said they're going to play the same sport?
That is a good point.
Exactly.
That is a very good point. Because Liana is so tall. If I could get her in tennis, I could be King Richard.
No, God, no.
Huh? Yeah? Hey, man. You ain't seen the movie. All right. All right. Nickname. This is like on the list. This is the one that I don't do. All right. But it says no negative nicknames. All right. For instance, like when I was younger, I had the nickname of like 2. Right? 2. But here's the thing. Wow.
That's so bad.
What?
Like number 2?
Yeah, 2. Because Travis was my dad's firstborn, and I was the secondborn, so he called me 2. Like, and I was at the age of 2. But I'm not the one that was affected by that. I like the nickname. I actually remember being called that for a long time. No impact on me. Who that impacted was my oldest brother. who is not my dad's first child, right?
Oh, yeah.
So he calls me too, saying like I'm his second born.
Where am I?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's not the matter of like, oh, I'm building my child up, oh, I'm trying to, all this other stuff. It's the effects it has on the others. Or if it's a negative nickname in terms of like, I don't know, like Fat Sue or something. I don't know. What's a bad nickname? Can't get right or something like that.
Dumb.
Yeah, like can't get right or something like that. That's not gonna help your child. So eliminating things like that helps you eliminate jealousy. Cause you can imagine how jealous like Tori was from that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And do you have anything on that one?
No.
Yeah, we don't do that one. That's the one we don't do. That's the one we don't do.
All our nicknames are pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean,
Princess Sky, Melrose, Baby Faye.
Nayfae.
You call her Nayfae. I call her Baby Faye.
I don't call
almost
her.
like Baby Face. It's like Baby Faye. I love that nickname.
I can't do it. Call her name. I say Mama, which is weird, but I do.
And the last one is schedule one-on-one time. Okay, schedule one-on-one time. And this is one I learned when Naomi was first born, and it was like Melanie was just going through it. Like she was so annoying. Yes, Melanie, if you listen to this, you were beyond annoying. Liana was like helpful. Melanie was pretty annoying. But what it was Melanie just really wanted her own attention. And so I had to take her. I think I took Liana to one store, like Walmart. I came home and then I took Melanie to Costco. And like that was our one-on-one time. But you got to schedule like one-on-one time with your children.
That is true.
Yeah. God boss, I used to go to the hair salon with Liana. And I was like, yeah, I was one-on-one time. And then like I think you took Melanie to get some ice cream. Because if you want to, like, the way to you take Melanie to work out. The way to Melanie's heart is through candy and sweets and whatnot. So, yeah.
That is true.
It's 100%
but now
facts.
Melanie goes to the hair salon now, and she loves it.
Yeah.
she enjoyed it. I was very happy for her.
I am too, because they really like their bees, man. They really like their bees.
Oh, yeah. All they do is this.
Oh, that's why I be hearing them when they come down the stairs.
Oh, at night. That's why I know she in the bed.
I was like, get up! Get back in bed. But that concludes all the tips that we had to help reduce jealousy between siblings. For those who needed to recap, is don't blame the older sibling on the baby, aka I can't do blank because the baby blank. Instead, find a way to say just delay it. Just be like, I'll do it in 5 minutes. Give them spontaneous praise. Don't play the mutual blame game. Acknowledge the jealousy as it occurs. Avoid the comparison game. No negative nicknames. And schedule one-on-one time with the kids. Now, Kiki, you have anything you want to add to the list?
No.
And do you have anything you want to add just in general?
No, that's just one of those things you have to consistently do and try to create a habit, just trying to, because it's going to happen.
Yeah,
At the end of the day, it's going to happen. I mean, just even people in your life, you might be jealous of certain things that they have or certain things they're able to do that you can't. So, I mean, it's just a natural thing that happens. It's just teaching them how to cope with it. And then also trying to do your part to help kind of eliminate a lot of it, Because a lot of it is like put on by the parents and that just trickles down. But if you can like eliminate, like my mom never spent one on time with me. If I do it with each one of them, she can't use that against me. And they call me dummy.
Yeah.
I don't call you anything but your name and your respectable nickname. It's just you eliminate those factors, those things that you were listing off the list, and then you're just gonna have those natural jealousy tendencies. But if you use those tools, it can definitely help you coach, kind of deal with it.
No, I feel that.
Yeah.
We're at the natural end of the episode, you guys. Thank you. If you listen to the podcast version, make sure you leave a 5-star review and just say what you liked about the episode. If you're listening to the YouTube version, please drop that like, hit that like, make sure you subscribe, and comment below on the part that you thought was most impactful or a topic that you would like us to talk about in the future. We like to end every episode with a segment called Words of Encouragement. Words of Encouragement is exactly what it sounds like. It's us pouring into you till we get to see you again. So, Kiki, do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
I can go first.
All right, go ahead. Go first.
If it's not your birthday, act like every day is your birthday because it's awesome. I say that because I truly took off work. I took time to pamper myself. As you can see, the hair. I still like halfway done.
Incredible, by the way. It's like flowing and whatnot.
Thank you. It feels so good. And just taking that moment for myself, I'm like, man, I just need to do this. Like usually when I use PTO, it's for appointments. I'm sick, and that's about it. And those me days, you don't realize how much you need on. You think you're gonna get a me day on a weekend? No. Most of the time it does not happen because you're trying to catch up from a week that just flew by. You know,
even when we have date nights,
yeah, we're pushing something back to have that date night. So it's not truly like a true off day. And so I've honestly got to experience that till I sat down. But no, but truly, just today has been awesome. I mean, you can't really do much about your birthday being on a weekday, but me being off, it feels awesome. So be sure to take care of yourself. We always talk about self-care, but I mean, we really need it, y'all. I mean, COVID slowed us down. Sorry, I said the code word. I said the word. The gangsters slowed us down. But now that we're picking up again, I feel like we're slowly creeping back into the craziness that was before then. And we need to stop and like, hey, remember when you was kind of chill? Kind of slide that back in.
Let's do that again.
Yeah, let's do that again a little bit.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, happy birthday weekend, honey. Or happy birthday month. Or birthday week. I don't know how you're going to do it. Yeah, my words of encouragement is habits. It's all about the habits that you form. Even the smallest habits have done over time, just compound into something greater, right? Recently, I went to the doctor and they were like, how much you weigh? I was like, maybe 230, something like that. Dude, I got on the scale, I think he said 240. And I was just like, you know what? It's all because of my habits. Like the way I've been eating and the way I've been exercising, like obviously at some point I was going to break the scale. So now I have to like reverse the habits that I'm doing. I'm saying all that because you are the habits that you form. So let's make sure we try to form the best habits that we possibly can. You guys, that has been the episode. Thank y'all for listening to How's the Fam. Kiki, how's the fam?
They ask me who I do it for. All I want for my birthday, you know the rest.
Fam's all good over here. Y'all enjoy Keisha's birthday week.
Bye.